live. Okay, guys, I'm just trying to get this all set up to make this all working. Um, but say hello. I've pulled up, let me make sure I can. Oh, I can hear me there. There we go. Say something in, it says, I know I'm live there. Okay, I'm seeing a comment pop up on my phone, but I'm not seeing it pop up on, oh, there we go. Good evening, everyone. That's from Robin. Hi, Robin. Anybody else that's on, y'all go ahead and say a quick comment just so I know who's here. I know we only have, this says, let's see. Let me refresh it. Okay, good. Deidre says she can see me. So I know a lot of people are going to be watching this after the fact. Deborah and Deidre, good, yay, yay, yay. Oh, you're in Youngsville, North Carolina. We are close. Wow. A lot of people messaged me saying they weren't going to be able to watch this live. Hey, Darlene. But so the way that we're working this is that you can watch it anytime. It's a private listing that's just for you guys. And that link, if everything goes as I think it should, that link should provide access to it. You know, what you can watch it whenever you want. Oh, good. There's Leanna. If I'm saying people's names wrong, y'all let me know. I realize it's dark because I didn't turn my bright light on. So get ready. Boom. That's so bright, but it really makes a difference. So yay. I'm glad you guys are here. So I'm going to be looking at my computer so I can see comments, and we'll just kind of take it as we do. You guys, this is completely unprompted. Just wanted to, work on a project together, and I'm so excited about these. And I so sincerely apologize for how late these boxes got to you. And I know some of you haven't even gotten it yet. I went through all of the tracking numbers yesterday, and I was like, oh no. And it's so crazy. The ones that were like being shipped to California all made it. And it's like the ones that were kind of in the middle of the earth here. Hey, Jeanette, those did not arrive. But I promise watching this tonight, you'll get the gist of what to do, and I can do a one-on-one with anybody if they're watching it but need a little bit more assistance. There's like a delay. Like I see something pop up there and it takes it a second here. Oh, Deborah says she's not sewing tonight because she's exhausted from teaching second grade today. Can't think straight, but we'll certainly enjoy it. That's fine. And you don't really have to do these as we're doing them. Really, you can just watch along and then kind of get inspired and do it whenever you have time. So for those that did get their box, your box, it was just full of goodies. But, one of the reasons why it took me a lot longer, well, for one, I've just never done this. And so it was very overwhelming to make sure that all the things were where they needed to be, getting all the supplies and making sure and trying to figure out in my head, okay, for these 4 different projects, how much of heat and bond light or tearaway or thread. Well, thread's easy because we won't use all that. And fabric and it just, it logistically, it was confusing, but I think I figured it out. I hope I figured it out. Y'all just have grace with what I sent, and we'll kind of learn from it. You guys are my founding members because you're the first ones to take part in this, but I'm super excited. And, the other thing was there was a couple things that I was like, okay, I need this. And then I went to order it, and they only, instead of having 32, which I needed, they only had 12, and the rest were back ordered, and they were going to be sent a week later. And it was crazy. So anyway, I'm going to end the cutoffs for the next boxes much sooner so that it really gives me enough time to make sure that I have all the items and get them to people much sooner than this. So again, I completely apologize. Deborah says my tracking said Thursday evening, but arrived on Wednesday. Oh, good. Doesn't normally go earlier than whatnot. I didn't look at tracking again today, but again, I sincerely apologize. This is a work in progress, but I did want to make sure that tonight's was the easiest of all the things. So really we could just make sure that like logistics were working, that the private link worked, that you guys were able to get it. I looked earlier today, so 32 boxes went out. So we have 32 people that are stitching this exact item, or all 4 of these items. But when I looked on Facebook, I saw that, let's see, we had how many members on the group? 24. So there's still some folks that did not get the link, even though I did email it as well. And I emailed it to whatever you purchased the box from, whatever email that was. So hopefully, and I also sent out the link for this video through email as well. Where did I go? Let's see. Hold on. I should be able to be on this now. Let's see. It's so weird because it says it's live. I'm trying to get back to it so I can see what did I do? Hold on, guys. I'm sorry. I want to make sure I can see all the comments. Let me. It's like I normally have on my TV back here, whenever I'm doing a live, I'll have it on the TV. And the reason I do that is so that I can, see the messages, because I cannot see them on my phone. But since it was an unlisted video, I couldn't even figure out how to find it on there. I'm sure there's a way, but me looking last minute certainly wasn't. I just assumed I'd be able to type in the link, but that didn't work. Okay, so I'm pulling it back up. Okay, all right, I'm back. Sorry. And I think that's why there's a delay. I'm looking at this just like you guys. I clicked on the link just like you guys, because that's the only way I could find it. Kristen said, I'm here, user error getting on. Teacher says, I've never done a towel. I'm intimidated. Thanks for all the effort putting this together. And Kristen's also going to watch. If I miss things, I'll pay attention to one thing at a time. So again, you can watch this again. I'm hoping. But the idea is just that we're going to learn different things that we can do. We can all chat about it. I want you guys to please talk. Please talk. I'm going to, like I said, go through, comments and I'll try to make sure that we, answer it. I say we, like as if there's someone else in here with me, I'm just going to keep saying it. Sorry. That I answer the questions that you have. And, the idea is for us just to be able to stitch something together and learn something new that you could offer to the folks that you sell to. So put in the comments here if you have an Etsy shop. I'd love to know, where you do your selling, if you do it at all, or let me know that you don't sell anything, but you want to. So everybody comment so we can kind of see where everybody's at. If you do have an Etsy shop, put that in there, or if you sell somewhere else, let us know. I'd love to check it out. I'd love to kind of see where you're at, and we can go from there. But so everybody put that in the comments, and we'll check on that just to kind of see where you're at. The idea, that I had with this was I have the ability to get supplies through wholesalers, supplies, such as, threads and all the different stabilizers and fabric, and even these towels and stuff. And so I wanted to be able to, instead of sending you out to get this would cost more money if you guys were getting it yourself. And then you don't have to worry. Not everyone has a Joann's. Not everyone has a Hobby Lobby anywhere near them. So I wanted us all to have everything the same and just have it show up on your front door and make it easy for us just to sit down and do it together. So let's see. Robin says, no Etsy shop, but would love to have one eventually. Deidre says, I have one, but haven't used it in years. Would love to sell, but haven't figured that out. Well, good. So that's kind of what we're going to be talking about. Some things kind of behind the scenes in regards to that as well. By the end of doing these 4 projects, hopefully these will be 4 things that you can show your group, whether it be a Facebook group or y'all are going to hear my kids, just so you know. This is a wild time of night. Darlene says, I don't have an Etsy shop yet, but I'm trying to get one going. So my advice would just start it. Look for do you have a business name? You want to make sure you have that, and then secure that name across all the different social medias. You want to secure that name on, Jeanette says she has a Shopify account, would love to add embroidery to a shop. Okay, so right now your Shopify doesn't have embroidery in it, so you already sell something. Robin, I'm sorry you don't have your box. I'm so sorry. I don't know if you were listening. Hopefully you were listening. And I hope it does arrive tomorrow. And we can do a one-on-one if you'd like, if you want to go over some more questions once you have it in your hands. Okay, Deidre says she has a Facebook page for a shop. Perfect. I sell, half of what I do is I sell on my Facebook group. And okay, I have one that's kind of really tired right now. And so he's upstairs upset. Thank goodness for my husband, who is amazing with him. So Facebook is a great place to sell. I started doing on buy sell trade pages, and from there, made my own group and page, and that's where things started. That's where I realized, oh my goodness, there actually is room for more people to do this. There is still a need, and it just really kind of made me realize that I could make a business out of this. And that's when then I started Etsy. I actually don't even have a Shopify site. I've had it from time to time, then I've closed it. And I do actually have somebody working on one for me right now because I know I'm just worried, with any of these different platforms, what if they just went poof and were gone? I want to have my stuff in one place. Even if it's not, one of my higher, areas that I get business from. I've also sold on Amazon Handmade. I don't love that platform. It's confusing to me. So I only have a very limited number of things on there. I don't have all my inventory on there. I think right now I've got 200 plus items on Etsy, and I think on Amazon I only have like 20. So things that I can do pretty quickly, but the platform to me is not as user friendly. It's a little more confusing, but it's still good to have it. Okay, so that might be everybody that was commenting on what they have. Kristen, you said you have Amazon too, but don't have anything on it yet. Yeah, I mean, I have it. But so that's where I would talk about, taking your business name. Do you guys have a business name? If you do, put it in the comments. I'd love to see what those are. Or if you're trying to teeter between some, let me know and we can talk through maybe what would be a good one. But business names, why I say pick that first is because you want to go ahead and secure it on Etsy, secure it on Amazon Handmade. Even if you're not doing it yet, secure the URL. Even if you don't ever plan on having, a Shopify site or selling on your own platform. I'll just show you mine. So my business card that I've had from the get-go, on the bottom of it says, is that blurry? It's so bright, so bright. Anyway, it says www.embroiderynurse.com. So I secured that website, in the very beginning, right when I knew that was my business name. And so I paid like $11 on GoDaddy.com to get that website. So I've only used that. It directs you straight to my Etsy shop. So I was able to use this URL and point it to my Etsy. So instead of having this really long, wordy email or web address with Etsy shop, embroidery nurse, blah 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 blah, it just says embroiderynurse.com. So it's so easy when someone's like, well, how do I find you? I'm like, just go to embroiderynurse.com. So it's always made it really easy. And like I said, I only pay like $11 a year to secure that, domain name. So I would really highly recommend doing that as well. When my Shopify site is up and running again, and I put a little bit more time and energy into it, I will redirect that to my Shopify site, and then I'll have a separate site for Etsy. But I don't know when that's going to happen. My goal was to have that by mid-year, and I do have somebody working on it. It's actually supposed to be done by them mid-May, so we'll see what it looks like. Okay, here's some of y'all's names. My mother's daughter, that's cool. Is it Rabina's Crafting Studio, J Blue Creations? I see that it's like your first two letters of both your first and last name. That's cool. I've sold mostly to friends, and it's been pretty much shirts with HTV, but not anything yet with embroidery. Still trying to test items to sell, but have Instagram page and work on Facebook page. Perfect. Yeah. Instagram and Facebook are my go-tos. Also Pinterest. I don't really put a lot of effort into Pinterest, but I know I need to. But that's just one that, I don't spend as much time on. Pinterest is more of, an area where people will, kind of like old school magazines where you'd fold the corner of the page over, something you want to save for later. So to me, it's not the best avenue to sell straight from. It's something where people are like, oh, I'm gonna have a bachelorette party in 8 months, and I want to start saving some ideas. Well, they may save your idea, but it's not selling it right then. Maybe 8 months later, who knows? But um, the Crafty Healer, brilliant. I will point at Etsy when I get it up. Yeah, perfect. It really is a great way to secure that. And then even, like I said, even if you never use that website for anything other than it just being a great URL for you to, point your Etsy shop to, or point to wherever you want it to go to. So, about that. So the things in your box, I will let you know. So a couple people didn't realize that we were going to have to buy designs on top of that. And I apologize if that wasn't clear when you purchased it. Really the reason being is with any design, there is, like, if you click on all the different things that come in that file, they have their own kind of legalities when it comes to it. So since I don't digitize things myself, that's on my bucket list for one day. We each have to purchase the designs. I hope moving forward, I can work with a few designers and digitizers. I don't really know any personally, except for me buying from them. But I think we could probably reach out to a few of them and see if they would, be willing to give us like a special code just for our group. And so, or maybe give a free design for the group. So I'll work on that on my end. That's me kind of just needing to do a little bit more, what do you call it, where networking and just seeing, who we could speak with and who might be willing to do that for us. So, but like I said, this comes in a file, and it, basically just says that, you may not transfer, share, or sell our design files to anyone. So I wanted to make sure that we were doing it the right way by purchasing the files. You don't have to do the exact files that we do. Like, for instance, we're just going to do, an anchor applique on our towel tonight. If you have something else that you think would be cool on it, perfectly fine. You don't have to do the exact same thing we're doing, because the technique of what we're doing will be the same. So you don't have to do that. So if you have something, then please feel free to use that. The fabric that we sent, there I go saying we again. It's interchangeable for whatever and however you want to use it. If you want to use, the red, the blue, the white, or any of the, I don't see, let's see, where's the rest of my colors? However you want to use it. Yours doesn't have to look just like mine. And so but that's kind of the fun of embroidery, I think. Oh, that's perfect. You have a patriotic heart. Thread as well. Now, of course, I just sent you our patriotic colors, the red, navy and blue and white. But you don't have to. And when you see a design out there, or you see something that someone else has made, try to think outside the box. It doesn't have to be exactly like it. I will tell you, in the beginning, when I would see a shirt that I liked, I would literally go to Hobby Lobby and search for the exact fabrics, like to a T. And then I was like, well, that's, not very creative on my end. But sometimes, like, when I see something, that's all I can see. So I try not to do that now. I try to kind of think outside the box and stand out by doing something a little bit different. If it's a Christmas shirt, why not do it on a pink shirt? Or why not have, a purple snowman? It's okay. And that's the beauty of being able to create things on our own. So what else was I going to say about the things in our box? Do you guys have any questions before we start? Like I said, tonight's really, I picked the easiest of the things that we're going to work on, just so we could kind of go over some, chatting and kind of get to know each other, and figure out if you do have any specific questions before we start. Y'all put in the comments what size is your biggest hoop. I'd love to know that. And also what machine you have. That would be perfect. So y'all put that in the comments. And I will be asking some questions on our Facebook group over the next few days, just trying to get a little bit more information from you guys, to see what, going forward would be the most helpful, way for us to present this. I really do want your feedback. This is for you guys. I'm so happy to be here, and I just look forward to working with you guys. Deborah asked, do you pre-wash your towels? I'm assuming y'all can see all the comments. I pre-wash nothing, because I don't know, when I think about that, I think it's gross. I know some people do. but I don't wash anything. I don't pre-shrink shirts. I don't pre-shrink fabric. I mean, when I think about, someone else's washing machine and what goes in and out of that one, I don't want like my baby's things to be in there. I don't have a baby, but like for someone that was buying from me, like that's not what they would want. And when you go to a store, you don't, it's, ugh. No, I don't pre-wash anything. I will tell you, I did have this huge box of these circular towels one year that came to me, and there was all these beautiful colors on them, but then there was a lot of white markings on it, and it wasn't markings as like a pin or anything like that. It was really just from the fabric that had gotten like super squished because it had been vacuum packed. Those I did end up putting in, because that's, when I reached out to the supplier, that was their recommendation. I put them in the washing machine with just water only. Um, and that really did, salvage the item for me. So no, I don't pre-wash anything else. Okay, good. So we have the PE 800. We've got the Bernina 6x10, or the biggest is 9.8 by 12. Oh, and the Genome, am I saying that right? A PR 670E, 8 by 11. The Brother Persona, 8-inch hoop. PR 670E is a Brother 16. Okay, thanks. I was like, wait, what are all those? Yeah, Brother has all those letters and numbers. Baby Lock is like Endurance, Intrepid, which is so funny. So my husband loves showing people this like studio in our new house. People come down there like, wow, when they hear that I do monogramming, they just think that that's just something fun that I do, maybe in the corner of my bedroom. But when they come down here, they're like, wow, like this is for real. And so it always kind of makes us laugh. But he came down and he said, they're all named after like spaceships. No, spaceships is like a movie, like space rockets, whatever goes in. What, y'all? I'm so dumb. Y'all probably know what I'm talking about. But like, like the Challenger. Well, this is the Endurance, the Intrepid. I don't know if that's true. I still need to look it up. All right, let's see. We also have, now I don't know how you say that, a PFAFF Creative Hoop, a 12 by 8. And then a Creative Hoop, 12 by 8 3/4. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Space Shuttles. Thank you. Space Shuttles. So I don't know. I have yet to look it up, but I was like, okay, that would be a guy coming into an embroidery room to know that, because I hadn't a clue. And then I also have the Racoma here that I use interchangeably with certain things. Not everything, but I do use that as well. Let's see, any other things. So the other thing that I want to be able to share with you guys is just ideas like on suppliers and whatnot, and what I recommend when it comes to that. Let me pan over here. Let me just show you. So these, I don't know, is the information on the towel itself? Port Authority. So these were purchased through Sanmar. I have an account, a wholesale account with Sanmar, and they sell all kinds of stuff, and towels was one of them. So that's why I was like, perfect, we're gonna do a towel. This isn't as red as I hoped it would be, even though it says red and white. I want it to be way brighter red versus the darker red, but it will still be cute, especially when we, put some of the blue against it. That will turn it into more patriotic. But I want to pan over here for a second and just show you some of my stuff sitting here. These are the towels that I've been selling on my Etsy shop. And I did these just for a few people in my group when I saw them. It might be really blurry because I'm so close, or is it continually really blurry? Let me see. Sometimes I can clean off the... Sometimes that can help. Hey, I'm really close and I can't see. So I do like these towels that I got from Walmart, but let me tell you, the one issue with that. Someone ordered 2 pink, and I've run out of pink, and I can't find them anywhere. So it's great to do if you're just doing like a quick sale of something when you buy it in a store like that. But if you want to have something continually in your group that you're selling, or on your Shopify site, or on Etsy, then buying it from a wholesaler is going to give you much more likelihood of a continued item. I do hate when I have items where I only have like 10 of them. I'll try to sell them in my Facebook group first. You know, if I get my hands on something or if someone's selling off something that I know is a great seller, then I can't find anymore. I hate that. I really try hard to keep things, you know, that in the beginning, I bought things from like de-stash groups, which is great in the beginning when you can get a few things here, a few things there. But I learned quickly that if someone's de-stashing it, it's because they couldn't sell it. So who am I to think that I'm going to buy all these great things from them and now I'm going to be able to sell it? I try not to do that anymore. I try to make sure that I get things from wholesalers or companies that I can continually buy them from, so that it's an item, like say someone bought this and then, you know, in a month or so they want to get another one for, you know, their neighbor or for a baby shower. And, you know, I want them to know that, you know, things they can come back and do, come back and find. So do you recommend we get a resale license? Absolutely. I don't know. I wouldn't have or be able to do half the things that I've done if I didn't get a sales and use. So for, I think it's called sales and use. I was like, she retracted her comment, but it's fine. We don't have to spell perfectly in here, I promise. I do. I mean, it just gives you so much more opportunity to purchase different things. Like one of my top wholesalers that I get things from is Love That Cotton. Now you can buy things retail from them, but that's not really, wouldn't be a business, a wise business choice. And so that's where I get a lot of my seersucker items and whatnot from for baby clothes. But they do require you to have a wholesale license. Sanmar, I have Wholesale Boutique. I have All About Blanks. I have all those need wholesale license. Now, if you're just wanting to do, you know, like shirts and things like that, those are more readily accessible at a great price from places like Blanks Boutique, ARB Blanks, AJ Blanks. Can't remember all of those. Now I can't remember all of them. They're just kind of, I'm losing all the different names in my head. Oh, like Jiffy.com and places like that. So all those you can get without a wholesale license. So if that's where you think you'll stay, if that's what you think you'll make, then you certainly don't need a wholesale license for those. But I would look into it. Kristen says, let me ask you about LTC. They're out of stock so much. How do you manage that? I've been buying from them, but how do you sell when they're out of so much? Let me see if I have my file right here, and I'll show you what I do. I love their stuff, and it is always one of my top sellers are things from Love That Cotton. And let me tell you this really cool thing. I don't know if any of y'all have ever looked into the embroidery, everything embroidery market, the EEM trade show. It is awesome, awesome. And the owner of Love That Cotton just bought I don't just bought the market. I don't even know what that means, but I guess she bought the rights to the name and all the information that goes along with that market. So it's going to be this year, September, I think 10th and 11th, or 9th and 10th, 9th through 11th, something like that. But super excited about that. It is an amazing, I love it. If you guys can find a way to go to that, I highly, highly, highly suggest it. I will be there, and I will actually be teaching a class. Are you kidding me? I will be teaching a class. Well, now I can't find it. Here it is. So, Kristen, specifically, when I have, let's see if I get this closer. I made these like Excel spreadsheets because I love spreadsheets. But like, for instance, the very top one says, you know, LTC knit sunsuits. And then I have every color that they come in: white, navy, red, light blue, gray. And then these are the sizes they come in. And down here I have the, you know, the knit ruffle sunsuit. And so I go through, and I know it sounds tedious, but it's a way to be able to keep this, you know, these items there. Here's knit shorties. And then here's knit shorts. Shorties are girls, shorts are boys. So I literally have, you know, a spreadsheet. The jumper dress is one that I sell a lot. And so I have every size and every color on there. And then the other one that I sell a lot of is the seersucker ruffle dress. It's the same thing. So what I do with these is every few days I'll go and what's great about LTC is she actually puts how many are in stock. So I can see, for instance, that the red 18-month seersucker ruffle dress, whoo, don't say that more than once, only has 4 in stock. Well, only 4 in stock, I'm taking it off my stock. And then another good thing that she does is she will post when things are going to be restocked. The reason why, she's very, very sweet to talk to. The reason why things are selling out so quickly is because her business has grown substantially. And it's been really hard for her to guesstimate how much people are going to order. And people are starting to order a ton, more than they probably would have in the past because things have been selling out. So it's kind of like how the toilet paper went, right? People are stockpiling some items that they didn't used to stockpile. So then it's making inventory for her even more confusing. But so what is LTD? LTC. Love that cotton. It's just a great company to purchase from. And they have amazing clothes, you know, mainly stuff for kids, but also adults. But that's what she specializes in. And I have just a severe love for seersucker. And so she sells a lot of seersucker items, and those sell well in my shop. See if I have anything over here. I've tucked most of my things already in their files, but you know, like this is a red seersucker John. So things like this sell really well for me. All right. So the only other thing I was going to show you guys is think outside of the box when it comes to the designs. So this is the design we were going to do tonight on the towel. But it's the same exact design that I've used on this dress. And this will be a 4th of July dress that I'll post to my group and on Etsy. So, you know, any of the things that we work on, just try to think like, what else could that, you know, go for? You know, this anchor would look super cute on a navy pillow. How cute would that be? On this towel, instead of just doing the anchor, you could put someone's last name or a child's first name, whatever. You know, you really think outside of the box. It doesn't have to be exactly like what we do. But this is just showing you that exact same design, you know, on this navy dress. And I actually have one over there to do that. I'm going to do a red dress with a navy anchor, and those will be my 2 offerings for 4th of July. So just kind of think through, and you see I'm already doing the samples for my group for 4th of July now, and that's kind of why we're doing the patriotic themes now, so we can go ahead and work on them, start thinking outside of the box, start thinking of other ways we can use some of these things or sell some of these things, and then you'll have them available for your group or your Shopify or your Etsy, you know, long before the holiday. So for me, that was the biggest thing in the beginning is I would do all these sample sales in my group, and I would literally be doing a sample sale like, you know, a month before, you know, the holiday. I would post the sale to my group just to get samples, right, at a reduced price. And then I'd have to order those items, and then I'd have to stitch those items. And by the time I would have them completed and posted, it was a week before the holiday, and it would basically be like, well, you can get these next year. Too late now. I mean, there was not enough time for me to get multiple orders. All I would have time to do was the samples because I was not doing it in enough advanced time. Does that make sense? So that's what we're going to do. So let's go ahead and just start. I'll keep looking over here to see if you guys have any questions. I did go ahead and print out. So the design, if you are doing the one, this design is from Itch to Stitch. It's a great company. I love their designs. They stitch beautifully. If you find some of the companies that are digitizers that you love, that you know, or, you know, stitch out well, In the beginning, I would have to like test stitch things. I know from a company like It's to Stitch, I don't have to test stitch it. I don't have to try it out just to make sure it's going to stitch well, because everything they pump out is amazing. And most of the companies that I get things from, most of the businesses, they have test stitchers. So they make sure before they even put it out for sale that it's been test stitched, by someone. And that's where you'll see a lot of the samples that will be posted on Facebook, and they'll say coming soon. Well, that's because someone test stitched it and is trying to push it out to purchase for other people to purchase it. I've actually been a test stitcher for 2 different companies. I was for a very short amount of time because I realized I didn't have time to do it. This was a while ago, but it was for Applique Alley, and then also for Applique and Embroidery Original. So both of those I did a few test stitches for, but then realized that, oh my goodness, I couldn't find time to do enough of my stuff and test stitch. But it is fun if you ever have the opportunity to do that. So this particular design, if you open up the file when you do it, you can see there's 4 different sizes. So that also gives you, time to think outside of the box. Like, what could I use the 2.75 anchor for? I mean, we could literally put that on a polo. That would be cute on the side of that. Or, you could have 2 on the top of a dress, or 3 in a row on top of a dress. Like, so you could use that small size, for something else. 4x4. Some people, that's as big as they can go. And so this is what they're going to work with. But a 4x4, again, could be used, you could put a couple on something, or you could put them in 4 corners of a pillow. You could put them along the, baseline of a towel. So, I mean, you could use sizes for, so many different projects. And then the 5x7, I believe on the dress, yes. This is a 5x7, and that's what I'm actually going to put on my towel tonight, is a 5x7. You do whatever size, your machine allows you to do. If you want to do the huge, ginormous one, you go for it. This is a 6x10. So that's the biggest this design comes in. So you can see how varying the sizes come with a lot of designs that you get. And really what you're going to put this on versus what you're going to put this on can really, be 2 extremes, items that you can do. So don't throw out the little one and say, I'll never use that. Not that you can really throw it out, it's in your files, but it's just good that they give you all the, different sizes. Now for some machines like my Ricoma, I actually have to print out the color sheet. This is the second, when I print out my designs, I print them all out. If you guys haven't watched my videos, you might not know, I print them all out because they have the grid on them, and I use that grid to perfectly center my items. So you can see the grid right there in the middle, the black lines that go up and down on each side and top and bottom. Those grids are how I ensure that my items are perfectly centered on my machines. The Ricoma, I can set my colors on my machine here on my baby locks. I can see step by step on the screen, but the Ricoma you cannot. You blindly have to put in the color stops. So you have to let it know, that first we're going to do, red, then blue, then white, or whatever the color order is that you're doing. So printing that out is necessary, or you can, just look at it on your computer when you're doing it. The Itch to Stitch also, has their own color stitching sheet, and it just tells you what order everything goes in. Oh, and this is good too, and a lot of them will do this. It actually tells you how many stitches that, like the anchor, if you choose the 2.75 anchor, if you choose this one, it has 2,889 stitches if you did that. Now, if you were to do the big Mambo Jumbo 6x10, so you got to think about this too when you're working on something, how much time it will take you. If you're doing that big Jumbo 6x10, it lists right on here that it's 8,502 stitches. So it lets you know right here. It also gives you the exact finished size. And again, this is in the file that you download, and in a lot of embroidery files that you purchase. You might not even realize it, but if you click on some of those other things in that file, these things are a part of that. So like for instance, the 5x7, it has 7,051 stitches, and the exact size when it's finished is 5 times 6.44 inches. It tells you it's got 3 colors, 2 stops. So that's really cool, like especially in the beginning to like look over that. And this one even tells you, you know, what to do first. Step 1 is the fabric placement line. Step 2, tacks down the fabric. Step 3 is the satin stitches. So really good information that they give all that to you. The other thing that they include in their file, which again, a lot of them will do, if you don't have time or the ability to stitch out everything for your group, they allow you to use a picture with a watermark on it that you can show your customers as a design option. But they do list in their legal questions that this is the one to use. They say you may use our unaltered photo where our watermark remains intact to display designs available in albums, on Facebooks, blogs, etc. We recommend adding verbiage that it's a stock photo and the fabrics and fonts you use will vary. We strongly discourage using our images on Etsy listings, etc. The photos you upload there should be representative of your own work. So I think that's cool that they you know are giving you the opportunity to use that. It's a PDF, no, it's a JPEG. It's a picture format, so you can you know, right click it and use it. So just look into reading those. Like if this all is new to you in regards to making and selling, just make sure you know what is allowed and what isn't allowed. But that's a great way to offer and show a design if you haven't stitched it out yet. And I agree with what they're saying. I'm not big into mock photos. I don't really like those. Now, when it comes to like, is it HTV or is that the TV show? And when it comes to vinyl and stuff like that, or screen printing or something like that, I feel like mock-ups can work a lot easier for. But when it comes to embroidery, I really feel like the only way to really see what an item is going to be like that someone is purchasing is for you to stitch it out yourself. So, you know, we can talk about in length and, you know, at other times in regards to how to get samples made. I've done a few videos on that, ways that you can, you know, create samples for your group. I'll put that in a link on Facebook. Let me write that down to remember. It's a great video on different ways that I've been able to make samples. I like to make samples for someone. I hate to just have them, you know, sitting in here with no use. But I'll link that video because I think it's really informative on how you can make samples for your group. Because I just think it's so important to have those. All right. I'll quit talking. Let's make our item. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to see if I can get this a little closer. I know you guys don't have all night to stitch one little item, but hopefully talking and chatting is helpful to you guys too. You guys let me know what's helpful and what you want more or less of. I'm here for you. Okay, am I cutting my head out, which is fine if I am. It's not a big deal. Oh, yeah, that's like a boob. I don't think you want that view. But I want you to be able to see my table. I just have to keep it back here a little further. Well, fine. There. You're going to see all my mess. I meant to clean up before we started, but there's life. Okay. So let's get some of this extra stuff out. So go ahead and pick what fabric you want to use on your applique on the towel. I think for me, just to make it fun, now some people, because they ran out, some people have more of like a crisscross blue fabric, and some people in their box will have more of like a star fabric. So you might be like, wait, I don't have that, but so I think for mine, I'm going to use my star fabric. I think that's cute. These reds do not go with that at all, so I don't want to use those. So I'm going to use this, and again, you guys can use whatever. I mean, if you want to do a green anchor, do a green anchor. It's fine. You don't have to use everything, you know, that I provided. So I did print out This is also a way that I make sure I have the right amount of fabric when I'm doing applique. Let me find my 5x7 since that's the one that we're going to be, or that I'm going to be using. You guys do whichever one you're going to be working on. So I'm going to take my 5x7 and I'm going to cut it out. And to some people, they're like, I can't believe you print out everything. This has just been the way I run my business. And to me, it's an essential step. To others, it's a wasteful step. So you figure out what works best for you, but it works best for me to print it out. I don't know why, but when there's a tag, I always like to do my items on the opposite end. Towels can be very different when it comes to their nappiness. Is that even a word? Some have a lot more large loops. This one, I love the way it feels. It doesn't, the loops aren't high. I actually had a friend who said, do you do towels? And I said, yes, of course I do. Could I drop off a couple? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I thought she meant like to drop a couple off for her girls. She's got 2 girls. I'm thinking she just wants me to monogram her girls' towels. Nope. Nope. Y'all, she brings this huge box. It has 24 towels that she wants me to put her company's logo on. Like, we didn't talk about that, but that's fine. I don't mind doing it for her. But what I didn't love is I wish she had reached out to me. I could have, gotten towels that I felt like were better quality. The ones she brought, the loops are so big. So I know that for those, I think it just froze. Sorry if it just froze on you. For those, I'll have to just be very careful and make sure that we use the right amount of water-soluble stabilizer. Okay, so I've got my fabric here and I've got my anchor here. And so I've picked which side. I know I'm going to do it here. And for this design, I literally was just going to do it in the corner. This you can do on a corner. You can do it on this corner. You can turn it in. You can turn it out. You guys are in control of designing your own item. You don't have to put it in the same space as me. You could put it straight up and down and then put, a name on there. It's completely up to you guys. Really, it's up to you. I'm going to put mine in the corner and kind of angle it because I think that will be cute. So what I do first is I literally just take my cutout and I'm going to pin it exactly where I want it. Now, if I was doing something over and over and over and over and over again, then I would get out my measuring tape and I would measure exactly where the center of that design is. So for instance, this one I have at 5.5 by 5.5. How perfect was that? And the reason I say write that down, like put it on your color sheet that you have printed out, 5.5 by 5.5. If you were going to do these, like for instance, when I do those 24 towels that my friend dropped off, I want to make sure that the placement is the same on all of them, right? So if this person was to come back and buy something, 2 months from now, they want to get their, cousin, their daughter's cousin, their niece, a matching towel because they're going to go on vacation together. You want to do it the same. And if you're like, I don't remember exactly how I did that, but so writing down, this is 5.5 by 5.5, then I can replicate it if this is something that I am planning to sell, right? If it's just something you're doing for yourself, just throw it on there wherever it looks best with your eye because your eye is normally going to be, where you like. But if this is an item that you do plan to sell, that you plan to take pictures of, that you want to replicate, then make sure you know where you put that. So I have it just pinned there. Now I'm going to take my fabric. I know how much I need is based on the size of this right here. So I'm going to place it over it and then I'm going to cut out this exact amount, right? With a little bit of edge on both sides, but I don't want to use too much. I don't want to be wasteful of my fabric. So then I don't need this part anymore, right? So I'm just going to throw that over there into my fabric stash. Okay, so now this is the size. I know it's the size of the anchor there. I'm going to move this out of the way. And I'm going to make sure that my iron is hot. My iron turns off on its own, which is what I need for sure. But all I have to do is just kind of rub it and then it will pops back on. and I'm going to get my Heat and Bond light. So yours was kind of rolled up in your box. Again, I kind of guesstimated on how much we would use. But I'm just going to place this over my Heat and Bond light and cut it out to the size of this fabric. You guys, I'm going to post a video of me putting all these boxes together. Oh, 2 straight hours of cutting for that fabric. Like, talk about me underestimating my time. Okay, I thought of something else that I wanted to link for you guys, and now it's gone in one ear and out the other. If I think of it, I will put it down. I just want to make sure if I say I'm going to do something that I come back and help. So now I'm just going to run my hot iron over the back. Some people use their heat press. Y'all don't have a heat press. It's on the bucket list. I want a pink one, but I don't have one yet. So just enough to adhere that on there. It gets hot, so you kind of shake it off, whatnot. Deidre says, why Heat and Bond? Okay, great. Thank you for asking that question. So anytime you do any applique work, you want to use Heat and Bond light on the back of your item, on your fabric. Heat and Bond light is what allows it to have more stability, and it's going to allow it to not fray when you cut it. If you were to see a picture of someone that did an applique without Heat and Bond light, and they post, maybe in a group and said, why do I have all these extra threads? Or, how could I make this look cleaner? I can guarantee you every seasoned embroiderer will say, did you use Heat and Bond light? ? You just don't want to do any applique without it. End of story. It gives it stability, and it allows you to cut it much, much cleaner and not have any of the frayed fabric around your edges. So what would happen if we use the Heat and Bond Strong? I don't know. I've never used Heat and Bond Strong. I'm gonna look into it because now I'm kind of curious. I have no clue. I don't even know what it is. I'm Heat and Bond Strong ? I really don't. I don't know, Kristen. I don't know if you have that and you use that. I don't know. If Heat and Bond Light versus Heat and Bond Strong, it's probably just going to make it just even that much thicker, I guess. And and maybe I would think for like appliques, like children's shirts and things like that, that probably wouldn't be what you would want because it would be too. It was a different color. It's a different color, but it's called Heat and Bond Strong. I don't know. I'm just guessing. Heat and Bond Light versus Heat and Bond Strong. That sounds like it's going to be like thicker. And if you were doing like a kid's item, you wouldn't want something that thick. But again, I'm just kind of throwing that out there because I don't know. It'd be too heavy. It would gum up your needle. Yeah, so I don't know what it's used for, but I will look into it and I'll try to answer that question. I love questions that I need to research, and I'm happy to look that up. The package is a different color. Oh, okay, I'm like, wait, what? I don't know how I would use anything. It's clear. Yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be too thick, and Deborah says too heavy, it would gum up your needle. So let's look into it. I wouldn't use it yet. If you have it, you should have. Oh, wait, your box isn't there yet, is it, Kristen? I'm sure to do for one project, it's fine. Now, like on a towel, I don't have to do things as particular with a towel that I do with a child's shirt, right? Like the integrity of this, and I don't have to worry about seeing it through the other side like a t-shirt. A t-shirt you would want to be using Heat and Bond Light, but then you'd want to be using a different stabilizer, poly mesh, so it doesn't show through on the other side. So a lot of different things. Oh, your box did come today. Okay, good. But I think you weren't stitching because I can't remember. So now I've got my fabric, and so now is what do we need to do? Like, how are we going to put this on the machine? There are so many different options. So I know there's like how-to videos of how to do this, how to do that, but just know there are 10 million different ways that I could put this on these machines. So, a way that I might do it, or a way that, another person that you watch a video doing, or a way that your dealer told you to do it, just know you figure out what works best. I have just been given the opportunity to be using Mighty Hoops, and those are amazing. So that is one option. Let me grab one of those. Um, I will tell you, these intimidated me in the beginning. I don't know if y'all heard my story, but at that everything embroidery market, the EM trade show, I was looking at these and they had this table set up and they were busy talking to all these other people. And I was just kind of being impatient. I wanted to check it out myself and they had it there so you could try it. And Lord, if I didn't go over there and pinch my finger. Because I didn't even know what I was doing. I had no clue what this was. I'd never seen it before, and I was just messing around with it, and I pinched my finger, and I walked away, and I went and bought my Durkee hoop, another one. And it does say on here, pinch hazard. It gives you enough warning that I should have known, I should have read. But now that I've been using them, and I'll post some videos soon about them, I am in love with them. When it comes to a thicker, item like a towel, wow, it's awesome. So I will put information about those if you've never used them. They're awesome. I can't say enough good things about them. I wasn't used to using them and I was getting by fine without them. You don't have to have them, but if you can make your bucket list of things that would be nice to add, they're great. So that's one option. It's a magnetic hoop, and I'm going to show you how to do that. You also have in your own, with your own machines, they come with their own hoops, right? I am a big proponent. This is my 5x7 hoop, so I can use that. If it was, a bigger item, I bought these Durkee 9x9 hoop. Love this. I've used this religiously. I have several of them for shirts that I do before I got the Mighty Hoops. Now I kind of use them interchangeably. I still like this, but the Mighty Hoop seems to be a little bit easier, less, trying to figure out the dial of exactly how thick it needs to be, because this just takes care of that for you. So there's an option. Let's see. I am a huge, I think I was starting to say this, but got sidetracked. I'm a huge proponent of hooping things. Machines, these machines were manufactured, and designed with the hoops that came with your machine. So that right there is like an aha thought of this is what they were made to do. They were made to embroider using these hoops, right? Floating is a great option for items that just cannot be hooped. But your everyday items that you can hoop, this can be done on any machine because it's flat. So single needle doesn't matter. Everything that we're going to be doing is going to have the ability to do on a single needle machine. Because, that's where most all of us start. And anyway, so this can be hooped on a single needle. It's not a shirt, doesn't have a backside to it. We're not having to flip it out and hold it and, finagle it in a weird way. So that's just my 2 cents. I try to hoop everything, if it can be. Now, the Mighty Hoops do, I think Mighty Hoops are only for multi-needle machines. I'm not sure. Gianna Snyder says, I love my Mighty Hoops. Yeah, I knew it was something on my bucket list, and everybody kept saying, Kelly, you love these, and I just hadn't done it. And the fact that they reached out to me, I was like, oh, I'm so tickled, I'm so honored, and yes, I will use them, and yes, I will learn. I do still have the, this is the 8x9 Mighty Hoop. I do still have the hooping station over here. And I need to do a little bit more research. I would love to show you guys how to use that once I learn myself. So if there was only a few more hours in the day, but there aren't. So anyway, so we could use this. That's an option. The 5x7 hoop's an option. An add-on Durkee frame, that's an option. If you are still just really wanting to float it, you can do a fast frame. So a fast frame, this is a perfect size for this one. I would not use sticky stabilizer on a towel because it's going to pull the loops in the back, and that just won't look good peeling it off. We're definitely going to want to use tearaway. And that's why I sent you tearaway. Pretty much every item we're going to be doing is using tearaway. So that's why I sent you a couple of these. But with that, you can use different ways to clip on your tearaway. There's certain clips that you can use to hold it in place. There's also the Repesco. has a product that you can clip them on. I don't think I have mine close by, do I? It's I stored it in this little box. It's a neat little it's Supa clips is what it's called. Not super, but Supa. But they have these just little clips that you put on with I'll come over and see if it's working. It might be stuck. Maybe that's why I'm not using it right now. Well, I'll try to get it functioning better and show you. But oh, hey Christina, you just found out about the live chat. Okay, well I'm glad you found us. We haven't even made the item yet. We've just been chatting, and I know I'm probably taking up too much of y'all's time, so we're gonna keep moving along. But you can watch it from the once we're done. You can watch this from the beginning if you missed any of it. So I apologize. I know we're all in different time zones too, but I'm just kind of showing you different ways that you can do the same exact item. So know that you're not like stuck in, you know, just one way of doing something. When would you use sticky stabilizer? I have a terrible time getting it off, but I feel like so many YouTubers use it. So it just depends on what items. There's certain items I use it, you know, all the time for, but a towel, absolutely not. What do I use it all the time for? There are a couple of shirts that I do that have like faux smocking that have a lot of stitches that it actually works well for. Smaller items, if I'm trying to get in bags, oh gosh, any kind of bag or canvas or lunchbox or anything like that, without doubt. Any pillow you can use it for. Anything that you don't have to, you know, the back doesn't have to look beautiful like a shirt. I've been trying to watch from the pickup. I've been feeding cattle. Well, we cannot all say that, Christina, so that's pretty darn cool. You are feeding the cattle. You know, farm life. Awesome. I have all different sizes and shapes of fast frames that I use. You know, and all these, you can see all the sticky stabilizer that's on them. This one I was using specific for one type of bag. This one I'm using for like a mesh bag that I'm embroidering on. So it just depends. There's this one I used today because I did a little doll shirt. A doll shirt does not need, you know, fancy stabilizer. You know, the tearaway, I mean, the sticky was perfect. So that was a circle. It's a perfect circle. Oh, on some of the seersucker items that I do, they don't need tender touch. They don't need, they actually don't need I do use sticky stabilizer for like my, the John Johns and the short alls and long alls that I do. I actually use sticky for that. Deborah says, I have an 8x9 mighty hoop for my single needle brother. Okay, so single needle you do have to get the extra support bar. I also have 2 hooping stations, love it all. Okay, Deborah, you need to show me how to use a hooping station. It intimidates me. I just see lots of numbers, but I haven't taken time to read about it. Oh, and then I got this one. Check that out, a 12x7 fast frame that obviously I haven't used. I thought I was going to use it. And then I got this really big machine that does big things, but I know I'll have opportunity to use this for other things. Oh, and I also have, I might have tucked it away. I also purchased the jerky fast frame for hats. And I don't know where I put it. So that's another option, and that's another day. So with all that being said, I think what I'm going to use is... Let's use the mighty hoop so that y'all can see how that works. So I'm going to put my other frames away. So again, this one comes with my machine. This one I bought extra as well. This is a Durkee. And you guys, please use the Facebook group to ask any questions. Is that the 8-in-1 for the Racoma? Yes, I have the 7-in-1 that I bought with these, and I actually bought several pieces so I could do one thing, you know, 2 things at the same time. And then for the Racoma, I purchased the 8-in-1 because I knew that I use fast frames for these machines regularly. I knew for this to join my shop, it was going to need to have that too. Okay, so we have our fabric ready. And I think for mine, I'm going to use, well, should I use white or blue? Sometimes, you know, blues don't match, but this blue has a few extra colors in it. I think I'll use blue, but you know, You could use the red, although the red doesn't match exactly to that towel, or you could do the white because it does have the white stars and it's got the white. You guys pick which one you want. We can do it completely different. I am gonna, oops. It keeps freezing, I'm sorry. When something else pops up on there, I apologize. So I think what I'll do is the blue wins. So let me get that ready. And I'm gonna load it on my machine here. All right, oh, let's see. Actually, I already have navy up there, so I'm not gonna change it. But if you need to put your color on, I feel like I need to get a plug for my phone there. It was fully charged when I start, but doing videos just takes every bit of its energy. I should just keep it plugged in at all times. Probably. All right, let's see here. Might have to get my extension cord. Okay, sorry, I'm moving y'all all around. Let's get this going. Let me find I have an extension cord somewhere. Voila! Y'all, my room is a wreck. Y'all don't judge. Don't judge. Okay, let me just plug the phone in, since that's what we're recording on. And then we'll get to stitching. If y'all have questions, y'all, please feel free. Type them in. Ask away. While I finish getting that set up. Make sure we can see everything. All right. Voila. Sorry about that. Okay, so we're going to use this big one here. Yeah, so I do, Kristen, I do the seersucker because it's lined. So if the seersucker that you have, if you have it from Love That Cotton, it's lined. So really you're just doing the interior lining and then you can just peel it off. Now I will say when it comes to stabilizers, even though one is, there's lots of different sticky stabilizers. There really is. So you'll be okay. I mean, you certainly can use your cutaway, like your no-show with that. And that would work fine. So, all right. So this is, how much is this? Like a yard? Yeah, a yard of this. So obviously don't need that much. The only thing with using this is it's pretty big for that 5x7 anchor. I could probably just use my 5x7 and save, but now that I've committed to using it, and we're just gonna go with it and run with it. So I've already started the process. One of the reasons why I want to use it is since I'm doing this in the corner, this mighty hoop will kind of even itself out around the edges of it, right? So what we're going to do is turn it over, and I'm going to use spray adhesive and put that on my, not too much, but just enough to put it on the back side of the tearaway, and then apply it straight to the towel, the back side of the towel, okay? And then we're gonna turn it over, and you see how some of that doesn't even touch. So that's why I think this frame will be good, so that it's, okay, this is so funny. The first time I was using these, someone taught me that you put the fat tab to the fat belly, and I'm not kidding, I say it in my head every time now. It was such a good recommendation. All right, so I'm just gonna put it in there, and I'm using my grid that I have pre-printed on my sheet here to put that close to the center. And then I'm just going to take this, and again, I was told the warning label goes towards the machine. So this is the side that's going to go to my machine. Then you just hover it over, and then it snaps in place. I can hear my kids running upstairs. And that did work perfect. I really like the way that grabbed it. And even in the areas where there wasn't as much towel, it grabbed it perfectly. Now, you know, we could use, so the stabilizer we're using is the one that I sent you. So it's the Tearaway, Sulky Tearaway stabilizer. Same one that's in your box, which you might not have gotten, Christine. I'm sorry if you didn't. But if you're still at the cattle, you probably don't have it in front of you if you do. But yes, it's the Tearaway. So the reason why this was good for this thicker towel is this is a great hoop, but then you have to do all this dialing and putting it, making sure, you know, it's tight enough or loose enough to get on, then you tighten it back up. So again, you can use any of these hoops, but the beauty of this magnetic hoop was it just popped on and grabbed it. Great. All right, so now I'm going to go over to my machine here. I actually need to take my fast frame off of it, the arm, because I was doing something earlier with my fast frame. And I saved my design on my USB here. So I already put my anchor on. This one is being finicky to me. It takes it a while to actually read it. Okay, let's see. Da, 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 da. And I have too many things on this USB, so it takes it a while to even pull them all up. It says, please wait a minute. Okay, there we go. So anchor should be up top since it's alphabetized. There's my anchor. Where'd it go? There it is. So I'm selecting my anchor. And I'm going to take my item and slide it on the machine here. Make sure, yep, it clicked. I already had it where it was at the biggest size, and that's what that one is perfect for. Okay, so have y'all done applique? Have y'all dabbled in applique? The way applique works is it's 3 stitches. The very first stitch is going to be a placement stitch. It's going to show you where to place your fabric. So it's called the placement stitch. It just stitches an outline of your item. So this is a good applique to start with if you haven't done a lot of applique, because it's just one piece of fabric. There can be some appliques that you do out there, you know, say for like a kid's shirt that have like 10 different fabrics that you have to put on there. Not ones that I would suggest to do in your business, because that's just really time consuming, but there are some really cute ones out there if that is something that, you know, you wanted to maybe do for a friend. So first things first, I feel like you're too far away. Do y'all feel like you're too far away? Look way over there. Yeah, let's see. That's my iron. Don't trip in here. I'll bring you a lot closer. So let's see here. It's gonna get dark. Hold on. Hold on. We're gonna come over here. I gotta turn the lights off. That way. Oh, much better idea. That way we can see what we're doing. So let me plug this in. And then plug this in. Okay, we're back. We're back in business. All right, so that makes us a little closer, and so you can see the machine. So if we look up here, oh my goodness, if we look up here, we can see on the screen, can you see? It might just be too bright with this. I think it's just too bright, so you're not gonna be able to see my screen. I'll have to figure that out. Maybe if I turn that completely away. It's a little better, but still bright. Let me just turn it off. Let's see. Sorry, guys. Now we can see a little bit better. Okay, so I have it on here. And I selected the anchor. So you see that's already there. So we're going to set that. Now, based on how I have it on the machine here, I actually need to flip it because it's upside down, because that's the way we put it on there. So on my machine, I need to go back and rotate. And I've turned it back upside down. So that's good. We're going to say okay. And now here is where I actually use my laser here to match up exactly to my grid. So I'm going to, sorry if I'm making y'all dizzy. So I'm going to use my arrows here to actually move that red dot around so that it's exactly over that grid. All right. So there's the red dot. Here's the grid. I'm going to move it up some, over some. Voila. So now my red dot is directly over that grid. And so that's exactly why I use this, so that I can put it centered perfectly every time. Now I'm going to take my pins away and I'm going to put the phone up so you guys can just watch as we go. I think next time we need like a photography assistant. Who would that be? All right, let's see. All right, so we have it in the exact spot that we want. Now I just need to tell the machine that we're going to embroider. And then there's 3 different steps here, 1, 2, and 3. Now, when it comes to this, I could do all 3 of them in the blue because we're only doing one item. Sometimes it's easy to do placement stitch. I'll do as the color that it's going to be. But sometimes the tack down stitch, which is the second one we do, I like to do in a color that I can actually see better. So I'm going to do the tack down stitch in a random color that's up there, but then make sure the 3rd step, which is the satin, we'll do back in the blue. Okay, so applique. The first thing that you have is the placement stitch. That's going to just draw an outline. That will show us where to actually put our fabric down and make sure it's completely over the placement stitch. Then it's going to do a tack down stitch second. That's going to actually, once we take the backing off of our Heat and Bond Light, that will actually adhere, stitch it to with one stitch all the way around the design to the actual item. Then we take it off, we cut around the tack down stitch, bring it back to the machine, and that's when it does the final satin stitch, and we're done. So you guys, we're almost done, and we just started. This is a simple one. I love it. So we're first and foremost, we're going to unlock, say start, and it's going to do the placement stitch. I click reserve stop on my machine because that will stop it when it's done. Okay, and it's going to do, yep, just the outline there, and then it's going to stop. So now you want to make sure, y'all, the first time I did Heat and Bond Light, I forgot to take the back off. So you want to take the backing off because that's what's going to, see now the shininess to that, that's what's going to allow this to actually adhere to your item once we're done. So that's the side we're going to place down, and we're going to place it over our tack down, or I'm sorry, over the placement. And now it's going to tack it down. So we're going to say go for our second one, and I'm going to make sure it stops again. This is where I picked, like on here I had gold up there. It'll just be easier for me to see exactly where I need to cut it. Now it's going to do the little circle at the top, so it's got to do that too. Perfect. So I'm just going to grab that and bring you over here. Sorry, I keep kind of making it go wonky. So I use my Fiskars. It's one of my essential supplies in my room here. They are, where are they? Dun, 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 dun. I have several pairs of them over here. It's just for me what I found to be the most useful for applique. They're small, easy to get in. Another pair, so I have them all over. So what I'm actually going to do now is cut out all along the tack down stitch. So put that down a little bit, and you can see how I did that tack down stitch in the gold. It allows me to see it better. If I had done it in the blue, it would be really hard to see the details. So, and again, the Heat and Bond light is what's allowing this to, you know, just cut with ease. So you do want to be careful that you don't cut the item because these scissors are sharp. They're called sharp needles for a reason. And you want to get as close as you can to what you stitched. Do you trim out the little hole in the top? Yes, we'll get to that. You have to be kind of careful with some of things like that, but yes, we'll cut it out completely as well. I mean, I guess for a little different detail you could leave it, but it's designed to cut it out. So we'll cut all the way around here. And I just like to cut and turn, cut and turn. And see how it just kind of slides right there along that stitch. I just love these scissors. One reason, and I said it before, that I love them is just the price point of them. It allows me just to have them all over my room. So that's nice. They're not so expensive that I can only have one. All right, so keep cutting. Some people will use their like Cricut machines or Brother Scan and Cuts. I've never done that to cut out the fabric. Because these are all individualized items that I work on, it's never really been something that I felt like would be useful. People that do it generally do it if they do multiple things that are the exact same. All right, slid right down the side there. Back up this side. And that's going to be all of that right there. Okay, so we've got it all except for that little hole that we want to cut out right here. And so the way I do that, look how cute this is, guys. I love it. I love it. I love that fabric. I just take this spot right there and I just do a little snip. Just a little snip. You don't want to snip through the item, just a little snip. Enough to get my scissors in there so that I can go around the edges of it. Perfect. Yeah, you want to be careful that you don't do a little snip all the way through. And then again, you want to make sure you get as close to that stitching as you can. All right, let's see here. All right, so there we go. You can see how close I was able to get to all of the stitching. And now, honestly, all we have left to do is put it back on the machine. And it does the rest for us. So I'll bring you back over. Hold on. You do want to make sure when you do items like this that you, or any item, honestly, that you make sure when you're stitching, look at this magnetic that you keep all of the stuff out from underneath. You don't want a piece like this to get, underneath the machine. So it's a 13-minute stitch out, right? It only took, the first 2 minutes to do these two things. The main bulk of what you do is going to be stitching the satin stitch in the end. So I'm going to go ahead and tell it to start, and I am doing it in the navy blue so that it matches, and we're just going to let it run. You guys, I'm going to let it run, but I can see questions, so if you guys want to ask any questions, we can do that while it's running. Kind of boring over there, isn't it? We'll come back to it. But yes, satin stitch. I've always loved satin stitch because it does allow you to not cut as close. So that you're absolutely right with that, without doubt. I am not a huge proponent of using the like the bean stitch and the vintage stitches on items because those are so hard to cut. They really are. And I've never perfected the satin or the bean stitch cut. I just haven't. I love zigzag for items that I do in my own shop. Zigzag works beautiful because it's just enough coverage on the sides to allow you some extra wiggle room, but it's a quicker stitch. So when you're doing, several shirts at a time, it's really helpful. Satin stitch definitely takes longer, but it definitely looks, I just love the classic look of satin stitch. I think I always will. Christina asked, do you match the bobbin? No, I've never used any bobbin color other than white. I'm very simplified in the way I do things. I try to, just ease of use, and I've literally never done any satin stitch. Okay, water soluble stabilizer. Okay, so you definitely can. If I was doing, this one looks okay. Like I said, I loved this actual towel. I did give you guys water soluble stabilizer to use, and I kind of forgot. But I did also know that this towel itself didn't require it for this applique. If you want to add a name to your towel where it is straight stitching, no fabric, definitely want to use water soluble stabilizer, and that is in your box as well. That's this water soluble stabilizer. So absolutely, I'm so glad you mentioned that, because generally when you're talking about something with a texture like a towel or something like that, water soluble stabilizer you want to put on the top of the item. So this would have been put on right before the satin stitch started, and I did not use it this time. I could have, but seeing how it's stitching already, I know it's not needed. But again, if I was to go back and put a name or a monogram where it is strictly thread embroidery, no fabric, you would definitely want to use water soluble stabilizer. But I say that, and all those towels that I've done over here, I actually, after I did the first few with water soluble stabilizer, I tested one and realized it really wasn't that necessary, because the nap on those really, again, isn't that big. So this stuff is expensive. I only want to use it if I have to use it. And this looks absolutely fine. I'm eyeing it over there, like making sure, but it looks absolutely fine. It does not need it. But that is what this is for. It might be the only project that we needed it for. So if you don't use it tonight, I would suggest, if you do, a towel like this, if you add this anchor to it, maybe you want to add a name to it. And I'll give you a great font name, the one that I use on all mine, and a picture of what I've done with mine, if you do want to add a name to it. A great one for towels and large fonts. It's called the Market font, and it's found on Etsy, but I'll give you a link to it. I'm making myself a note so I remember to tell you. But that's the Market font. Awesome. And I'll show you a picture of the towels that I've done using that. Do you ever use the knockdown stitch from Brilliance? I have only used it one time when someone dropped off some Sherpa jackets that had no wear needed. On a towel, I've not used it. I love the look of it when I see other people, but I've just never needed it, except, like I said, for that Sherpa jacket. They brought me 3 Sherpa jackets. Some Sherpa jackets are made where they have like a patch area where you put the monogram, but not the ones they brought me, and it was just like full on fur. And so I had to research because I'd never done it before. A lot of what I've done as I've grown, I know you probably laugh when I say it, but it's kind of like fake it till you make it. When she brought those to me, I was like, yeah, I can do that. And then when she left, I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do that? And I'm like going online and asking folks like, how in the world do I monogram this? And that's when someone said, well, try a knockdown stitch. Here's a great one. And having a community, and I hope that this will be one for you where you can ask questions and advice and things like that is so crucial. You know, join 20 of them. And it's just great to be able to go back and forth and ask people that are doing the same thing that you're doing. You know, just simple questions, because you might be so confused and you ask a question and within, 2 minutes, 10 people have answered you. Might be answering you different ways, but, ways that you can, work out the problem that you have. I mean, I even remember in the beginning videoing my machine and being like, why is it doing this? And, people would give me ideas of try this, try that. So the embroidery community is awesome. I'm glad you guys are part of it. And I hope this, these stitch outs and, our Facebook group will be a good support for you guys as we move forward. Don't be afraid to ask questions. I love to answer anything that you might have. If there's something you want to make sure that we cover, please ask that too. I'll try to throw in some things like we did at the beginning. The next few stitch outs are going to be a little more time consuming, so we'll kind of jump into it and just kind of talk as we do them. This was the easiest one, and again, I did that purposely because I knew we would need to talk and figure some things out in the beginning. All right, it's got 4 minutes left. So if you guys have any questions, y'all ask away, because once this is done, we'll be done for the night. This has been fun. I'm so glad that you guys were able to make it. And for those of you that are watching on the replay, if you have questions, put them in the comments. And I'll be happy to go over those with you, any kind of questions that you have. So it's almost done. I think I just saw another question pop up. Can and how do you change or adjust the density of thickness of your stitches and brilliance? I see people talk about that all the time. Like, you need, and let me tell you, I don't do it. I've never changed the density. Like, if the font that I have isn't dense enough, then I need to get a different font. I don't alter anything. So I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm just saying I don't. So I can only give you my opinion, and I can only give you my knowledge, and I have no knowledge of how to do that. So maybe it's something I need to look into. I'm sure there's others that do it all the time. With my Racoma, the groups that I'm in with that, they talk about that all the time. And it's just nothing that I've ever done. I saw one other comment. If the bobbin is showing through, is it my bobbin tension or my thread tension? So it really could be either. If something is going wrong on the bottom, it generally is the tension from the top. If something is going wrong on the top of your item, it's generally from the bottom. So it would be bobbin related. I do have a video where I talked about bobbin tension because it was something I had never heard of. I had just heard, don't you dare touch it, don't you touch that bobbin. And then once I learned a little bit about how I could control it a little bit, I made the video so that you could kind of understand it too. So I'll link that as well to see if that might help you if you're having thread come on top. It could just be that your bobbin has gotten too loose over time with wear and tear. That does happen and does need to be tightened every once in a while. A little itty bitty hair of a turn. So it could be that. Again, I don't do a lot with my tension. The tension on the top of my machines, I rarely touch. And I do have my machine serviced regularly, and they check and make sure that everything is where it should be. And I try not to touch it. I try not to do much with it at all. I like to problem solve when things are going wrong, but tension is just one of those things that I don't. You can do tension tests. There's actually a machine there. Again, in this Rokoma group, it's a different type of people that do the embroidery with these Rokomas that's in these groups. They're doing mass quantities of logo wear and hats and things like that. At least the people that are in the couple of the groups that I'm in. And they do a lot of different, testing of tensions and things like that. But for things that I do, I don't do a lot of that. Yay! Is it done? It is done. So that wasn't too long, was it? All right, let's see. So I'm gonna take it off of the machine. It's gonna chime and let us know. All right. I love the way that blue shows up with that. The fabric is a little bit darker, but it just really makes it pop. Isn't that great? So if you see real close, you can see we got around to the edges. You don't see any fraying of the thread. It is beautimous. So we're going to take it out of this. Dun, 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 dun. Put that over here. And then with tearaway, we literally are just going to take it on the back side, pull it off. You might have to be careful. You don't want to pull the hoops or the loops up. And then if you want to get it out from the inside of this design, then you can literally just take something and start it in one spot and pull it around. This is an easy one since it's just got one area. I hear feet moving upstairs. It should be bedtime here. Gotta go check on everybody. All right, yay. All right, pulled it all out. And there we have it. So you can take an iron to it or put it on your heat press if you have that. So you can actually flatten this a little bit more on your towel by using the backside of that Heat and Bond light. It will adhere it a little bit stronger. So there we go. I hope you guys love it. I hope you guys learned something. I hope that helped. Again, you can add a name to this towel if you want. I'll be upstairs in just a minute. You want to say hi? Say hi. All right, I'll be upstairs in just a minute, okay? I'll come tuck you in. So if you want, you can do, another anchor on this side. You could, have two of them, one on each side, or you could use that anchor and just add, a name going straight across here. That would be super cute. Do it in the same navy. And again, I'll put the font that I suggest, but you probably already have a few that you could use. So those are just some options of how you could even, individualize it even more, personalize it for someone or for yourself. So again, I hope that helps. I hope you learned something. I'll be there in just 1 minute, okay? In just 1 minute, please.
Thomas, come on.
All right. So I'm gonna wrap it up. Obviously I need to, but if y'all have questions, certainly ask on my in the Facebook group, and we can, keep talking about it. I would love for you guys to show me what y'all created with your towel. It doesn't have to be anything like this, and that's fine. If you have questions about, once you started, if you didn't do it tonight, then certainly post it there, and I hope we can just keep chatting on there and just kind of keep our conversation open and y'all ask anything. I think someone just said their kids were older, but yeah. Oh, yeah, that's my youngest. That's my Thomas. I have a 13-year-old, all boys. I have a 11-year-old and a 7-year-old. So they keep me busy. And, I love it most days, most time. But anywho, y'all have an awesome night. Thanks for being here today. Again, for those that didn't have the boxes yet, I'm so sorry. But we're ready and we're on a go for the next 3 weeks. So I'm super excited, and we'll talk soon. I'll link all the things that we talked about either tonight or in the morning. And again, questions, you guys ask away, and we will talk again and see each other again and stitch something again soon. Someone did mention that they tried to get the design for next week and it says sold out on Etsy. I have messaged the Etsy seller to say, what's going on? So there'll be more to come with that. I don't know why it's not there. Etsy does make you put a number for inventory, even for digital items. So it could just be that it's sold out and she doesn't know it. So hopefully we'll get that cleared up, but I'll give y'all a heads up with that as well. Bye guys. Y'all have an awesome night.